All right, welcome back. This is, I expect, going to be the last of the project videos. What we're going to be doing is refactoring our queries into their own folders because something I noticed, just sort of like when going through here, there's a lot of repeated code, a lot of things that we're doing that are exactly the same. But not only that, like just here, and that's the extractor. Let's in create task, for example, there's just a lot of the not necessarily logic happening inside of the router. It's like it's two different things that are going on. So I like to have those queries in like a different place. Now that we have our test though, it's going to be safer for us to do this big change because if we break it, we can just undo the commit and try again. And it'll also let us know if we broke it or, if maybe like some little part of it's not going to work. So that's the reason why I like to have test there before I do a big refactor like this. Okay, so I'm not going to put the queries into the database folder, mostly because all of these files are auto-generated. And I'm a little bit hesitant to update an auto-generated file because if I ever need to run the CLI again, I don't know if it's going to delete my code. And I just don't want to worry about that. So in source, I'm going to create a new folder and I'm just going to call this queries. Let's mod this. I forgot the mod inside of queries. Okay, so that should make you happy. It does. Okay, so what do we need in here? Well, we're gonna have some probably generic things. We're gonna have task queries and then user queries. Let's do one for users. So users.rs. Let's actually rename this and be user queries. Mostly for just finding this is going to be easier in the editor, so I could just do Command P and just search for user queries. Okay, and then we'll have task queries, and we'll mod both of these. Okay, so that's good there. Let's go from top to bottom. So for tasks here, this is an extractor, but do we care about any gets or something in here? Not really. This is extracting stuff. It doesn't look like we're not even using the states. We're not going to the database, so this is fine. Create task. This is creating a brand new task. So this one we can probably put into our into here. So now here we're setting. We can also have a new different type, or we can take in a specific type. This is a task. Validate create task. Validate create task. What do you return? Your type is a validate create task. I want to say that you return. Oh, you just return a validate create task, which is this thing here. So we could take that in and save it. So that could work for us. Okay, so in queries, we'll do task queries. All right, so pub. Let's see. This is going to be pub function. It's going to be a pub async function. I want to maybe like create task. We're going to take in the sort of like the task data. So the task data. which is, oh, I've got a kitty cat here. Say hello to Zilby, our kitty cat who wants a little bit of attention in the video. There you go. Okay, so he was trying to help. This was the validate. What was it called again? It was the validate create task. Okay, so validate create task. Ooh, I can't actually see it from here. I can't see it because it's gonna need to be public here. With then, okay, so now here I can import you. Excellent. Okay. We're going to return now in a create task. We absolutely need to return the model back. So this is going to be a result. For this one, it's going to be the model, which is going to be the task model, and then an app error. And that way we can question mark this all the way throughout. Okay, so create task. What are we going to do with this? Well, if we go and take a look at create task here, we create a new task from this active model. So I can just probably copy you. So we create an active, okay, they create the active model here. And then we save it. And then we create that response task. The response task, I think, actually should happen in the route itself. So I'm just going to cut all of this out and then head back to our task queries and put you in here. So we taken the task data. We actually can call this task to make it work here. Okay. And start pulling things in. Okay, so first of all, you can't find tasks. Well, we need to pull you in. So import you from database tasks. Okay. Mismatched exit. Okay, so we want an okay with the, now we want to turn this into just a model. So what is that going to be? Like task dot into model. There was a way to turn that in. You're super unhappy. Let's hold off on that just for a second. Let's put a to do in here. Let's get rid of all of these other errors first. So import you. Okay. Can I find user value user in this scope? Right. So I also need the user in here. So user, that's going to be, I don't need to take ownership of it really. I can just do, what are you? You are a model. Specifically, you're a user's model. The problem is we now have two models that are two very different types. So we have tasks. I don't need self there. I want you to be a task model. And then let's do this, and we'll do users. Oh, it's still, okay, hold on. It's still model as task model. There we go. Users model as user model. Okay. Then you're going to be a task model. And you're going to be a user model. Okay. Next up, tasks. failed to resolve that. Let's import you from create database task. That seems right. Cannot find the value of this DB. Okay, so we need the DB to be injected in here too. So that's the DB, and you're going to be a reference to a database connection. Okay, which means I don't actually need the reference there. No method name saved. Well, I just need to pull in the trait object, and then you'll be happy. Need to pull in status code. Need to pull in this trait. All right, no more errors in here. Now let's see if we can convert this into the right type. So we want okay. We have the task dot. So we have to owned. I want something to turn it into a model. Try into model. That's what it is. Try into model. Now you. So this is something that we need to do quite often, don't we? Now it's going to be different for each type, but this is going to be an active model for a task. So actually, I want to do that. Let's see, where is it? Well, this is task queries. Let's just do this down here. So we're going to have an internal function, and this is going to be convert active to model. This is going to take an active model. So an active task, we can take ownership of it. That's going to be fine. That's going to be an active model. Can I actually see that? Okay, I think that's going to be a tasks active model, and I'm going to return. Now we could do this as a result, and we're going to have the model. So that's what, task model. Or if it's an error, this will be an app error. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to take the active task and we're going to return. So I want active task. We're going to try into model. We're going to map the error. Oh, we weren't even mapping the error. I think we were doing just direct unwraps before. Now, do we get an error in here? Oh, we do have a DB error. Okay, excellent. So we can do a ePrint line. So we have an error converting task active model to model. And put the error in there, and then return an app error. This is definitely a status code with an internal server error. And this is like internal server error. I don't really know what to say here. Internal, or just put say, and that seems wrong. Okay, and then we return you. That should be happy. Okay. So then you, I want to return this same thing, just a model. So I want to return a convert to active model, pass in the active task, which is just that task. We're not going to try into active model, so we just do that. Okay, so this is creating a task. Let's go and throw this in here. So let's do let task equals create task. That's the wrong one. I want, what was this called? Under queries. Oh, so create task. We also have like another create task there. So I want queries create task. Okay, that's what I want. So I want queries. Are you not public? You're public. Create task. Why don't you find this? Let's see, what do I have here? So use create. Okay, so I have utilities. Oh no. Okay, that's the question mark there. So this is create queries. Okay, that seems to be fine. Create task. I want to question mark you. Cannot find function create task in module queries. Not found in queries. Okay, so here's the module queries. Because it's task queries. Because it's task queries. That okay. I think that's what it is. I want you. So queries, task queries, and then we're going to use task queries create task. There we go. Okay. Expected 3 arguments. What's the first one here? So the first one we have is the task, which is the validate create task. That's our task. Taking ownership is fine because we're going to get another one back. User model. Okay, well we have the user here. So that's can do a reference to user. And then finally, the last one is the database connection. So that's going to be a reference to DB. Okay. Now, what are you upset about? The question mark operator can only apply to values that implement try. I thought you return. We have to await first. So we await, and then we can question mark that. That now gives us a model, and then this model we then take stuff out of to put into the response. Okay, so this should still work. This should be happy. Let's run our tests again and make sure that I didn't break anything. The general idea should be the same for everything else, so I feel a lot better about like, okay, let's just do everything else for at least the users or at least tasks, and then we can run the tests again. And 30 seconds later, there we go. Okay. All the tests are still passing, so everything is working exactly the way we want to, and our create task is a lot simpler. We don't have all this in here. So I don't need let's fix all these warnings. Get rid of all of you. Get rid of you. This entire file, this entire route is now a lot easier to sort of follow along with. Okay, so what's next? Delete task. So we find this one a lot, don't we? We have a find by ID for tasks. So let's go into our task queries. Let's throw in a find by ID. So pub async function find task by ID. So obviously we want the DB. So let's do DB is a reference to a database connection. We want the ID, which is an I32. And I don't think I necessarily need anything else. We're going to return a result with now this is going to be the task model and an app error. All right, so find by ID. Well, we could just do this once over again. So we do need tasks. So what are you doing here? We don't need that. We're gonna grab database. Okay, so tasks. I don't need this self, but I do need entity as tasks. Okay. Oh, I do need self, don't I? import tasks from database tasks. Oh yeah, that's the self here. Okay. Usually when I see that, it's a mistake, but I guess not in this case. Okay, so what are we doing? We are find by task by ID. Okay, so we're gonna find by ID. So we have tasks find by ID. We pass it in that ID. We sometimes need to filter, don't we? See about that. So in delete tasks, what do we want to filter by? This wants to filter by a user ID. And that is probably correct. We probably also want to take in the user ID specifically to filter by that. So we have user ID, and that is a I32 as well. We'll filter by, it's going to be tasks, column, user ID is equal to a sum user ID. I don't think that there's anything else we really care about this. Yeah, then we just get it. So we'll get you, pass in the database, we'll await. Okay, now we get it. The last time we do this map error, I realized I probably could just copy this. We'll just copy you. Now in this case, it's going to be slightly different, isn't it? So instead of error deleting task, this is going to be error getting task by ID. And then internal server error, this is, there was an error like getting the task. Okay, so we question mark you. I want to return this, so maybe I'll just do that. Mismatch types found, result, database task model. I want a task model, so that's that. With a new error. Found an enum result. Oh, it's an option still. Oh, it's still an option. Okay, so let task equals you. All right, what happens if there is no task here? So we could do a, I almost want to like map the error from this. But we want to convert this into we want to convert, if it's a sum, we're good, we return okay. Otherwise, we return none. I think that there is a way to do that on options. I want to convert this into a result. I forget some of these sometimes because I don't use them too often. But I want to see, okay, so map is doing a map of the okay, like the sum result, if something exists. I want to, okay, so okay or gives me a result. And okay or else allows me to create a new error here. So maybe this is what we want. Maybe we want okay or else. So if it's okay, we get the thing out, or else is now going to be this. I want probably here, we could do our ePrint line. This is could not find task by ID. That's it, really. And then we're going to do a new app error. Now this will be a not found. So an app error, status code, not found, not found. And we'll just do not found. Okay, so, and returning this is going to be fine, right? Because this still returns it returns a result now with the type if it's okay and the error if it's not, if it doesn't have something in it. Okay, so that's what we want. So now we can go back to our delete task And okay, so we wanted this task here. So this task equals, this is also the not found. So we want to replace all of you with find task by ID. Okay, so we reference the DB. We want the task ID and then the user dot ID. And then we question mark you. Oh, we await and then question mark you. And there we go. Okay, so now we have our model off of task. We do have to convert this into an active model, don't we? So let's do this as mute, and then we question mark you, and this becomes an into active model right there. Okay. All right, so we get our now. This is all logic as part of soft deleting. So this is fine. We set that. We save. Okay, so we have a bunch of times when we want to save an active model. Okay, so we could probably do that in task queries too. So I'm going to have a pub async function save active task. All right, so what are we going to take in? Well, we need to take in that DB. We need to take in a task, which is an active model. Which I can't see there, so let's try task active model like that. I think that's it. We're going to return a result. We should probably return the model. So this is going to be a task model. Yeah, none of these. This is, so I'm saving right now. So basically I'm going to replace this too. So do I want to, yeah, I probably wanted to return just an active model. So I'm going to convert as part of this too. We're going to turn a task model or an app error. Okay, so first off, the save part. Well, we're kind of doing that here, aren't we? So we want this new task.save error. Now I have this error creating a task. What I really want to do is we're going to say we have task, we save it, pass it in the database, we await, we map error. This is error saving task now. Error saving task. Okay, so save active task. That does its thing. I want to let task equals you. We found nothing. Oh yeah, we found nothing. So we have an active model, and I want to convert this to the other model. So I want to return an OK. Now this returns actually a result. So actually I don't need the OK. We're just going to call convert active model. We pass in the task, and I just want to return that. And that should be happy. So save active task, we can come back up to here and replace you. So this is now save active task, pass it the DB, pass it the new task, question mark, await, question mark you, and we're good to go. And we don't need to convert into active model anymore. We're good to go. So we just await. What are you returning? You're returning a task model. Oh, I don't need this. Let task equals that. All right, that returns everything that we expect to in here too. Okay, this is good to go. Let's see. Create. We were in delete task. Yeah, so we don't need this save, so we can now do a save active task. We pass it in a reference to DB. We pass in task, and we await and question mark you. And then we're good to go here because we don't actually care. Oh man, look at this. This is so much easier now. Okay, so that was delete. Get all tasks. Okay, so get all tasks. What are we doing here? So this we do a find all. And for find all, we have to find that they're owned by us and that they're not deleted. Okay, well, that seems easy for us to do. And that also seems like a proper thing to do in our global user task queries. So we're going to put that in here. So pub async function find all tasks. Maybe I want to do get all tasks. All right, what do we need? Well, we need that database connection. We need the user ID. And I think that's it. I think those are the only two things we really need when we're getting all tasks. We could potentially put like a deleted, like, do we want the deleted and have that be a Boolean? I don't like if it's generic, that might be a good idea. We'll do deleted. We'll have this be a Boolean. Okay, so we're going to turn a result. This is going to have a vector of task models inside of it. Otherwise, it'll be an app error. All right, let's go find this. Let's go find this. So we did a task find. We filter by those two things. We get all of them. We await. We map the error. We turn it into a vector. We map this into a response task. Now okay, so here I just want this point right here. So copy you. Paste you in here. Okay, so task find. We filter by the user ID. We filter by deleted at is null. Well, we only want to do this if deleted is true, don't we? So we want to probably like start building this query into variables. So let's do our query equals, you're probably gonna have to be mutable. Okay, so we start with, we find the task, we filter by some that, we semicolon u, and then we're gonna have to test to see if deleted, so if you're true, then I want to add into the query. So now what happens here? Query then returns into the next thing. Okay, so I'm going to want to do a query equals query dot filter, really just this. Semicolon u, and then, okay, so we're done here. So that if statement is done. Then we want to continue on with this query. Do I have 2 dots? I don't need 2 dots. Okay, so query, we run all, we pass it the database, we await, we map the error. Okay, so we get this error getting all tasks. That seems fine so far. We then return an app error new, error getting all tasks. This is fine. This also is now expected a result vec model. So I think we're doing the right. I just don't need the question mark. Okay, so the trait bound database connection trait is not satisfied. What do you need? Do you need Oh, it's already a reference. Okay, so you're happy now. So get all tasks, we're going to replace you with, it's right here. So this is now going to be get all tasks. No, not that one. This is going to be query tasks. Task queries. Task queries. Get all tasks. Pass it a reference to the DB. Pass it user.id. And deleted. I want that to be true. Does that make sense? Am I like making it really like confusing now? I want it to be if it's true, I want to get deleted. Otherwise, I don't want. Oh, that seems. I want this to be false. Don't get deleted, which means that this logic is wrong. Okay, so like I really want this to be like get deleted here. So if not get deleted, then filter out by this. Otherwise, we don't put the filter in and we get the deleted. Okay, there we go. Okay, so then pull you. So we need to await and question mark you, but then we can do our into iterator. We then turn this into the response task. That's gonna be fine. Collect them and send them back. Okay, so excellent. And this is a lot smaller. Great. Get one task. Okay, so we have our find by ID, which I believe that we already have a find by ID here. So we can replace you. So that gives us you. We map the error. Okay, so this is going to be a task queries. Find task by ID. Pass it the database. We have the task ID and then the user.id. We await and question mark you. Okay, so that gives us the model. Response task. So this one, we don't need this anymore. We can just go straight to the model, can't we? So we're going to return, we're going to create this as let response task equals you. Okay. Semicolon u. And then return this. Okay, excellent. Also, again, much simpler. The mod, these are just the types. So I think we're fine here. And then update task. Okay, so update task. We probably want, okay, so find by ID. So we know how to do this. Now we have this as an into active model. So this is actually going to be a lot simpler. So we're going to do our task queries, find task by ID. So there's the database. We have the task ID and the user.id. We await. We question mark you, and then we can do an into active model. Okay, so that gives us that. You can be mutable here too. Now we get this. We update the model based upon what we want to update on. We then, now this saves. And so I think we have a save, don't we? So we're going to replace you with the task queries. Save active task, pass it the database, pass it the active task. We await and question mark. And we're good to go. Okay, so that should that should do that. So that's mark completed. Mark uncompleted should be very similar. So we have the find by ID. So this is grabbing both of you like that. Okay, task queries. Task queries. Find task by ID. There's the database. There's the task ID and then the user ID. We await question mark and then into active model. Also, we need to make you mutable. Once you're updated, we then save you. That's the task queries, save active task, the database, and the task. And there we go. Okay. So that's mark uncompleted. Update task. So again, same thing. We want to find by ID. And it's that. So it's literally this exact same thing over again. So here to here. Okay. All right, you need to be mutable. Now we're choosing to update you here. I'm okay with having these updates happen in the route here because these seem to be like the logic that we want to do. And then we save. This is going to be now the task queries, save active task, database, task, we await, question mark, and we're good to go. All right. And that should be all the tasks. Okay, so that's all the tasks. We have potentially users too for us to deal with. So let's go into our user queries, and we'll figure out what we need to do here. So, okay, create user. This is like figuring out what the new user is going to be. This is creating a new user from information. Okay, that's fine. So I think so far this is okay because it's all part of the logic of what we want to create. And then we have a save. I want this save to be outside of here. Okay. So we're going to do a pub async function save active user. We know we want the database, which is going to be a reference to a database connection. We also want an active user. So it's going to be users active model. We're going to turn a result with, so we want users. So this is where we want that self, and then also users entity as, what is it? This is going to be users. Yes. Okay. What are you upset about? Missing type for function parameter. Yes. I want, this is going to be the user, like that. There we go. Okay, result. This is going to be, we're going to return a user model, which I don't have set up here. So I want users model as user model. Okay, so we're going to turn a user model and an app error. Okay, so save active user. That's actually going to be very similar to this task query. It's just the types are slightly different. I could potentially use a generic here, but I'm not going to because I'm not completely sure that's exactly what I want to do. So um, save active task. Yeah, so this is what I want to do. Okay, so we save, we do this, 9, okay. Failed to resolve users, import users from database users. Okay. Let task. Oh, I brought in entity. That entity was wrong. It was the other one. Okay, so task, import task. Oh, task is going to be this user. We want this to be user. Save. No method name for save. Do I need to pull in? Yes, the active model trait. Need to pull in status code. Okay, and then I need this convert active to model function too. Now, I'm not violating the rule of 3 yet. It's just 2. Probably in this project and these videos, I'm not going to create new versions of this. I'll leave that as an exercise for the learner. So if you feel you want to take on the attempt to make this a more generic function, you can throw it into like maybe the mod here or utilities, and then that could also work. Let's import. Wait, no, this is import task. I want it to be user. Convert actives model. Okay, so this is going to be users. And this is user model. Okay. Active task. I want you to be active user. We want to do, okay, so try into model. Okay, that's a trait. We pull that in. Okay, so you're happy. Okay, you're happy. I think I got error saving user. Okay, then we have this saving active users. That is where create user. Okay, so we have this save here. Now you're slightly different, don't we? So we have new user save, and then we have these other errors. Let's actually pull these in. And do this here. So, okay, so user save. I just want, so this is going to be user.save. I want to let user equals to this, to shadow that. We save you. We map the error. We handle any of these errors here. So let error message equals error to string. So we have that. If this error message contains this, then we want to create. Oh, this is all part of map error here. Okay, so that becomes user here. We don't need this save. And then we convert this active model to the active user. And you don't need to be double referenced. Okay, so save active user. That can now happen in here. And all of these error messages don't need to be handled. And we convert to active user, convert to model. So we now have, what is this? This is going to be user queries. Save active user, pass in the database, pass in the user, the new user. We await, and question mark. Okay, so that gives us our user. We create the default task for the user. So this is going to be, yes, I think this stays like this. because that's not like just a generic like call to database. It's actually doing some logic. So I want to keep all the logic here if possible. Okay, we return you, that's fine. Now down here, is there anything that we want to deal with though? So we find all tasks. Now, this is gonna be interesting. So we want to find all tasks, and we want to find all the tasks, and we want to not care about if they're owned. So we don't want to filter by that. And we don't want to filter by deleted at either. So that's interesting. However, I am running out of time today, so I'm going to have to put in a cut, and then we'll finish this right when I come back, which of course is going to be in several days real time. So let's we'll just do that right now. All right, a new day and a new more refactoring. So when I left off, now this was a few days ago, but we had just finished refactoring the create user. So let's move on to the create default tasks for user. So something I've let's see. So we want to get all tasks, but these need to actually be truly all tasks, but with the is default field. So if we take a look at this, if I just copy you and we head into our task queries, now we do have a get all tasks here, but I realize that this get all tasks requires a user ID because this is specific for get all of my user's tasks. And it kind of made me realize there might be better ways to do these type of refactorings. I'm not going to do it specifically this way right now, but if you wanted to experiment with maybe some like builder pattern type builder pattern experiments here, those might be an excellent way to create sort of a global query that can handle all the different ones. In this case, I'm going to continue on with just functions. So let's throw you in here a pub async function get default tasks. So you're going to take in stuff. Now we know we need to take in the database. We don't need to take in user ID, and we don't need to take in get deleted. So this might be all we need. We're going to turn a result with a vec of a task model and an app error. And let's take a look. Okay, so we have default tasks here. So I'm just going to return you directly. Okay, so we do task find. We filter by the column is default. We make sure that it's true. We get all of them. We await that. Okay, and this is, okay, so that's correct. We await that. We map the error. Error getting default tasks. Internal server. Okay, this is error, just the same error, right? Error getting default tasks. And there we go. Okay, so we save you. Get default task can now happen inside of here. Pass it in that DB. We await it and question mark you. And then, okay, so now that we have these default tasks, we loop through them. We create a task and we assign it to the user. Okay. Now this task save, I want to say that we have a save in here, right? Yeah, save active task. We have a save active task. So I think we can take this active model and we can say save active task, pass it in the DB, and pass it in the default task. We'll await you and question mark you. Mismatch tab, expected an active model. You should be an active model, right? Oh, task. Sorry, wrong one. Task. There you go. Okay, that's a little bit cleaner. Sort of like we have some sort of logic that's happening that we understand here, which means we can move on to login. Okay, login. The first thing we need to do is we need to find a user by username. Okay, so find by username, and then we're just going to get one. So I think that might be a good one to put in here. So we have save active user. Let's do a pub function find by username. So we'll have our database, we'll have our username, which is going to be probably a stir. I think it actually has to be a string, because I think that we have to give it a string inside of the CORM filter. We're going to turn a result with, let's see, so this is going to be a single thing. So it's going to be a user. What do we have here? We have just a user model and an app error. We can come back to here and come back to here. So I want to just take you and throw you in here. Okay, so users find filter by the username. Okay, so this is going to be username like that. Now equal. Okay, so we're missing some traits. Let's import you, and import you. It's not a double reference. We have to, pub async function. Okay, so we map error getting user by username, and then error. This is probably correct. I want to return to you. Okay, so what are you upset? Expected results, model found results, option model. Oh, okay. So because if we get one, it returns an option, and we don't actually guarantee the node that we have the user model here. Perhaps in find by username, perhaps I want to double check that our user equals this. I want to return this if, I know what to do. This is an option, right? We can convert it to a result with the okay or. So let's question mark you, and then we'll do an okay or else. If we have an error, we want to now return some kind of error, like an app error. Okay, so this will be status code not found. And now, should this really be not found? Not found usually means like the URL doesn't exist, like couldn't find that. But I've also seen not found used when it couldn't find the database. So maybe that's fine too. We can give a good error message here, which could not find user. Okay, so we return you. Okay, so that makes you happy. So let's go. Now we guaranteed that we have this out, and we don't have to handle an option in login here. So you are going to be get user by find by username. Find by username, pass in a reference that DB, pass it. Okay, so the username is the request user. Username, we're going to give ownership of it. That should be fine. We await and question mark you. And now we guarantee to have you. So we don't have to do this if let sum at all. We just know that we have you there, and we don't need you. Okay. Unmatched. Okay, so I don't think I need that one. There we go. Okay, so if okay, so then we verify the password. That should be fine to do here. We could potentially, well, we have this verify password in a utilities file right now. So I think this is fine. We're calling it, we're doing sort of business logic here. We create the token, we convert this into an active model. So we can actually do that here, can't we? So into active model. Oh, actually, no, we can't. We can't do that here because it's a lot easier to get the password out. Well, wait. Oh, yeah, we need the hash, and the hash is in the password itself. Okay, so we then convert you into an active model and we shadow you. We set, okay, so we set the token on you. We convert active to model again. Oh, and here's a save. Okay, so I want to, oh, and then we're going to give this stuff back again. So we want to now save active task, save active user. Reference the DB user. We await question mark you. You return back a model, which means I don't need to convert this back. Then we figure out what a response is going to be. We get all that information, and then we send that back. Okay, excellent. What are you upset about? You wanted verify password, mismatch types expected, a stir, found an active. Oh, okay. So find by username is, oh, I still have this interactive model. I don't need that. Okay, I think we're good now. Let's okay, that's login. Let's move into log out. With log out, okay, so we taken our user that we already got through the middleware, and we turned it into an active model. Okay, great. We set the token to none, and then we just save it. So we can actually do this as save active user, reference the DB and ownership of the user, await question mark, and then status code okay. Okay, I think we're good there. And then oh yeah, we just have our mods, which are just our types. I don't think we need to worry about that. And then I think we're done. So let's we have 43 warnings. Let's take care of those next. Okay, so pull you down. Okay, unused self. So we don't need, I think a lot of these warnings are going to be in these unused. So let's remove, oh, this entire line. Nice. I love it when you could just delete full lines. Almost this entire line. You, and then what was this? Oh, query filter. Okay. That's all of you. More unused imports, all of you. All of you, not all of you. I think both of you as well. Okay. Okay, same thing. All of you. This line. Okay, the column trait and the entity trait and query filter. Okay. More unused imports. Okay, so this line, the status code, and then you, the entity trait, and the query filter. All right, you're happy? All right, so in create user, a whole bunch of unused imports. Now, can I? Oh, that'd be nice if I remove the unused import. Okay, so I can do that. Oh, nice. I can just tell VS Code to do all of these for me. Now, I was doing them one at a time, which is not as nice. I have to click on it also, so like it feels like it's not quite as fast. I could just do them all here. Okay, so you active model trait. You're good. Oh, one last one. This function, convert active to model. We don't seem to need this one anymore as part of users because we're already sort of doing that everywhere else. So we get to remove you now. Excellent. A lot of code removed. Although we have some warnings still. Okay. Well, 2 lines here. Excellent. 3 lines. And that's it. Okay. And of course, finally, before we declare this done, we're gonna run the tests one last time, just to make sure that I didn't break anything horrifically. So, as I mentioned previously, there's plenty of ways to refactor this to be sort of different. The goal isn't necessarily to be as dry as possible, so not repeating yourself. Sometimes it might just be make it a little bit easier to refactor / rewrite later when the business requirements change. In this case, there was a lot of sort of complexity inside of the files. Ooh, okay, so we got a 404. That's not great. This got what happened here? So we got could not find task by ID. So in could not find task by ID, that was in our task queries, right? Could not find task by ID. Okay, so that's in this find task by ID. And that was specifically in the test. Gets a good error message when attempting to log in with a bad username and or password. So it actually wanted. So we gave the wrong response message. We wanted this. Oh no, it wanted this to be a 400 and not a 404. Oh, okay. So that was my fault. Okay, so in task queries, find task by ID, we want you to be not found, but bad request. And let's try that. And then we want you to be incorrect username and or password. So let's change you there too. And try this again. And that's the reason why we have these tests, is to keep ourselves honest and actually do a true refactor and make sure it's not an accidental rewrite. There is a slight difference in definitions between refactor and rewrite. A refactor doesn't change the functionality of the end product, and that's the reason why you might hear a lot of agile people or extreme programming people say that you have to have tests. That's just because how can you know? How can you be certain that when you're changing code that you didn't accidentally change functionality? Okay, so this is now in a different. Okay, so we got a couple different errors now. Let's fix these. Gets a good error message when attempting to log in with a bad username and or password. Okay, so same thing. We got a 404 and we wanted this to be a 400. This was, okay, so incorrect username and or password. Gives a good error message when attempting to log in with a bad username or password. So in login, we do this find by username. I'm doing a bad request now. Oh, it's find by username. I want you to be a bad request now. And that. Okay. Now we can try to fix some of these other errors too before we rerun. Should not be able to get another user's task. Okay, so we expected a 404 and we received a 400. And we wanted this to be a not found. Okay, so should not be able to get another user's task. So this would be in task, get one task. So find task by ID. I wanted, okay, so find by ID. This probably needs to be, no, not that one. Task okay or else. This probably needs to be a 404. So this is not found. And you need to be not found. Okay. What else do we have? Should not be able to mark other users' tasks as completed. So these are all just sort of errors. We expected a 404 in this one. Okay, so mark others' tasks as completed. So that's under update tasks, I think. Mark as completed. Come on, take me to the real one. Okay, so we find you. We wait to active model. Wait, this is still in. Okay, find task by ID. There we go. And we want you to be a 404 message, and that's it. So that's a 404 now. Okay, we're running into that we've already fixed it. Let's go ahead and rerun these tests and see if we've got them all or if there's a few left. I was sort of like in the middle of two different statements when we got those errors back. So now I've lost my thought process on both of them. But I think the general idea is that tests are good. End-to-end tests are perfectly fine. Don't worry if like the language for those end-to-end tests aren't in Rust. It's not an absolute necessary, and it doesn't really matter as long as the tests are easy to update, easy to understand, and exist. And actually test what you expect them to test. That's all that really matters. There we go. And now all the tests are passing. We have no errors, no warnings, which means that we are done. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this project is completed as far as I'm concerned. Now, are there ways to make this better and improve it? Of course there are. There always are on these type of projects. But at some point, we have to mark it as good enough to complete. This passes all the tests. I'm decently happy with it. We can extend it and add more features to it fairly easily if we want to. And we can come back and improve it more later if we really need to. So with that, thank you so much for watching through and hopefully following along with the project and learning Axum. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in future videos. Bye.